Today I'm going to show you how I'm taking the fiberglass dashboard from the Victress, and I'm making a new fiberglass dash pad to add some style and finish to the dashboard. So stick around, I think you'll enjoy it. Hey Chuck, come on down. Come on, you can do it. Come on, one step at a time. Good boy. What do we have going on down here? So I've designed this gauge panel. I had it made at Send Cut Send. It's just an aluminum piece about 1/8 inch thick. And this will hold all my gauges. I've got it mounted on the original Victress dash, which I've cleaned this up a little bit, sanded it, blocked it, got some primer on it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a dash pad that has a built-in sort of an eyebrow feature across the top. You'll typically see this in a lot of dashboards, just to provide a little bit of a sun shading from the gauges. So that's one thing on this dash. It's just a flat panel. So what I'm going to do is cover this all up and use it as a buck or plug to make a mold. I'm going to use 1708 fiberglass cloth, make a tight mold of the surface, and maybe carve and attach a foam overhang, padding there, and then I'll be able to cover all of that with vinyl or leather or whatever I decide to cover it with. So I guess let's get started. Okay, so there's a lot of different ways that you can cover something to take a mold from it. I'm just using some commercial grade pallet wrap, stretch wrap stuff, a little heavier duty than household saran wrap or something. And it stretches and clings really good. A little bit of heat gun on there to take a little bit of the wrinkles out, and some tape to tape it down. I'm not really that interested in getting it super smooth, just because this is going to be the underside of the of what I'm molding, and this 1708 fiberglass here is pretty heavy duty here, so the wrinkles underneath won't get transmitted through. But just kind of rough cutting. You see, I've left it a little bit long there for a reason, which I'll talk about later. Also, then I'll just get the heat gun out. And the heat gun will actually help to soften up the fiberglass and mold it to the contours. So a little bit of heat there, and just kind of feel it with your hand and kind of shrink it down. Alright, you can see I'm starting to get it to stick there. I took the gauge plate off and stretched this tight with some tape. I'm going to end up cutting it off right along here, so that's why I'm going a little bit long. And I can leave the tape on while I fiberglass. Same thing down over here. I've taped it along this edge. The cover is really only going to go about to there, and then I'll have a trim piece. Now, little baggy, this section here, I'm going to set it back up and try to reheat it and squish that down a little bit. I'm hoping I don't have to cut that and section it, but that may be the option. Just I need to get this to fit really tight along here. This side here is actually fitting pretty nicely, all stretched around here, so we're getting there. My Harbor Freight Special Drill Master heating gun just died. You see it smoking? Whew. Well, I think I'm done with that. Alright, so I let it cure overnight, and I did a little bit more cutting and trimming, a little sanding. Didn't record that because it's just loud and boring and messy and obnoxious. So, but I'm going to show you a little bit closer what's going on here. Alright, well, here's the finished piece. You can see it conformed very, very closely to the bottom of the dashboard. And I did get a little bit of the paint, the primer that was on there, not fully cured, did sort of burn off and stuck to the plastic, but no resin bleed through so far. So as far as making the eyebrow over here, the plan is what I'm going to do is sculpt some of this foam and stick it on here, and then sort of carve it how I want, and eventually we'll fiberglass it in. So I'm going to give that a try, see how that goes. Okay, so now I'm just rough cutting the piece of foam. This is insulation foam, not styrene, which will get eaten up by the resin, but just regular insulation foam. And just using various tools to cut that, hacksaw, utility knife, rasp, whatever. Get it kind of rough cut down to shape, and then hot melt glue it down there just to get it to stick initially. You see that's curved a little bit at the top, and then my hacksaw and a rasp, and just sort of coarse sanding it and getting it into shape. It's pretty messy. Tucker, what do you think so far? Getting pretty good, getting close. Really not sure how to finish this end off yet. I think this end here is going to come and get tapered down, but this one is a little bit more of a challenge. So here's the final shape that I came up with, kind of tapered on both ends. Looks pretty symmetrical there. So the extension on the end is to fit around the roll bar, as you saw there on the insert. So I took a little mold, a little pattern rather, of the roll bar with the dash in there, and then traced it on the dash pad and just kind of extended around and kind of trimming it out to fit, and then I'll test fit in the car after that. But that's what they look like extended. And a little bit more sanding and smoothing out of the dash pad. Looking pretty good so far. So now I'm just putting a light coat of resin on there to kind of seal the foam in how it is. And then a little bit of filler. This is, I think, glazing compound, just to kind of smooth the cracks in the surface a little bit to prep for putting my coating on there. What I'm putting on is it's actually baby blanket felt, or fleece rather, little spray adhesive to get it to stick on there. I've never fiberglassed fleece before. I know a lot of people do this for speaker enclosures and different things like that. So we'll see how that goes. I'm just taping it on to hold it tight around there, and then just soaking a little bit of resin on it. I think just one layer, one coat, just to kind of smooth that out a little bit and provide a little bit of a padding. So the fleece takes the resin really nicely. You can see what it looks like when it's curing up. It a little fuzzy there, but a little softness to it. So I think that's probably the right texture to get ready for coating. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of sanding and smoothing. And then here it is, test fit in the car. So looks really good. Pretty happy with how the fit is, and you know, again, this will be smoothed a little bit further when I'm ready to do the interior. Well, here's the final product for now. I've just taken a little bit of extra vinyl I had laying around and threw it on top to get a sense of what it looks like. And I've got my gauge cluster on there. I'm not gonna unwrap the tape from that for the time being. But the binnacle here will have a seam around the edges, so that'll be done in 2 pieces to make that tight. And then down on the far side here, there'll just be a little bit of foam under here to give that little bit of a lip. I may put a trim piece here, I don't know yet. And the bottom part of the dash will be painted the body color of the car, which for the time being I don't know what that's going to be yet either. So, but that's it for now till I get into the interior. So thanks for watching.